It's not.
Hey guys, not sure if anyone can hear or see us. This is the first time that I'm trying some new camera and audio equipment. So if you can hear us or hear me and see, please comment.
Be patient and work with us as we work through the new setup. Hmm. Oh, I hear you. See
Okay,
that?
yeah,
Marcia hears
yeah.
us.
Let's go back to the video here. Okay. Hope everyone's having a great Friday night. I wanted to try to just jump on here for a few minutes and test out the new camera, the new audio system, see how this works. If this works well, I'm going to be doing this more often. Potentially looking at a YouTube channel as well as expanding my social media onto TikTok, potentially. Obviously, Facebook is one of my true loves, so probably do a lot of stuff on Facebook as well. But this was kind of I guess, a test tonight to see how things go. So we're gonna try to do a few things tonight. It's kind of weird out. It's cold. It's a little bit spooky out. So I thought it'd be a good night to maybe do some EVP sessions, or technically ITC since we're using devices. I have my special guest with me tonight to keep me honest with what we hear. But I want to try a few different devices tonight. Got a few different things at my disposal for the evening. So we're going to try everything from the PSB 7, which you guys have probably all seen at some point and love. This is the newest version. This is the PSB 7T. Just came out, I don't know, last year. It's the newest one that has the temperature stuff that's built in. Honestly, I don't know how valuable that would be on a investigation. I mean, you're holding it, so to me it sort of seems like that might pick up radiated body heat, or I don't know. It seems like the temperature aspect of it is a little bit gimmicky. But the cool thing about the PSB 7T versus the previous PSB 7 was that they've added some additional cool features. So one of the cool features is now you see it has a cool red backlight instead of the previous backlight, which was blue. It was kind of hard to see. Plus, they've also increased the sweep speeds, so they've changed that somewhat. So there are a couple of different options that we didn't have before. You can set it to let me see. The sweep rate can be changed from 150 millisecond all the way up to 350 milliseconds. So that's a big change. So 100 millisecond, I'll start scanning and let you hear. It's pretty fast, almost too fast where you can't really hear anything. I'm gonna try this on.
Can we back up for a second though? For anybody who's joining us who's not familiar with these devices, can you give a very brief?
Yeah, so this is it's a scanning radio basically. So, gosh, I don't even know where to start with that.
Sorry.
Yeah, just put me on the spot. Um,
Or what is it used for? Maybe
yeah,
it's a better.
so I guess the modern, I guess the advent of scanning radios really kind of kicked into high gear. In the early 2000s, a gentleman by the name of Frank Sumption came up with the idea of using a radio from an old wrecked car, modifying that radio so it had the ability to sweep up and down the bands, with the idea that being able to do that would allow the spirits to manipulate the tuner to fall on specific words that they wanted to use. So Frank had an interesting idea in that he used both linear and random scans up and down the dial, which has been kind of continued to today. A lot of the ghost boxes, or spirit boxes as a lot of people call them, utilize that radio scanning methodology, similar to this, or this device, or this device, or the Frank's box that I have. It's basically a very unique way of allowing the spirits to utilize energy to communicate. There's a lot of detractors of it. There's pros and cons of using these devices. A lot of the detractors believe that it's difficult to determine what would be a legitimate word versus what's just a radio fragment. So, for instance, let me get this scanning and I'll show you what that means. So, I have this set now for 100 milliseconds, which is the fastest scan possible. We are on the FM band, so it's FM radio. I'll turn the volume up to max so you can hear it. Unfortunately, these little things are not terribly loud. They always recommend using an external speaker, but I believe probably with the microphone that I've added to my camera that you probably can hear it pretty well. So we're going to sweep. You can sweep forward or reverse. We're going to try sweeping forward, which would go forward on the dial. So 92.5, 92.6, 92.7, 92.8, etc. And we'll see if we get anything. So I don't know if you can hear how well you can hear that. Make sure the volume's turned all the way up. Okay.
Did you say Larry?
Yeah. So I think it actually just said Larry. So is there anyone here with us? That's the highest volume that it can go. But you can see it's scanning sequentially down the dial as quickly as it can. 100 milliseconds is incredibly fast. But it's almost too fast. It's almost too fast to really hear anything. But the true naysayers of this technology would say that the faster the sweep, the more likely the word that you get would be legitimate. So we'll see. Is there anyone here with us? Can you tell us your name? And obviously, I mean, you can hear the radio fragments in there. You can hear bits and pieces of music, news, etc. Let's try slowing this down a little bit. We'll try the sweep rate of, there's 150 millisecond. You can hear it slowed it down pretty significantly. If there's anyone here with us, we'd like to hear from you.
Can you scroll up the comments?
Is there anything you'd like to say? Winston. I don't know if you guys could hear that. It was way clear to us. It actually just said Winston. And I don't know if you could see this or not, but
Oh, lift your head up.
we have Winston is actually sitting here with us. So that's kind of cool. Hey, so you know Winston's name.
Look,
Do you know what my name is?
hey. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy.
No, you don't know what my name is? Do you know what her name is? What is your name? Do you know what year it is? So let's change the sweep rate a little bit. Let's go from 150 millisecond to 200, which slows it down a little bit more. See if we hear anything better at this sweep rate. Hey there, my name is Larry. I'd love to speak to you. If there's any spirits that would like to communicate with us, please say hello. What did it say? Or if you'd like to talk to Winston, say hi to Winston. So these types of devices, you know, they're very hit or miss. Honestly, I've not had a tremendous amount of luck with these things. Let me turn this off. You know, the reason why I'm not a big fan of these types of devices, I think they have their place, but I'm not a fan of these because you could hear all that crappy static, right? All that chop, chop, chop stuff. It's so hard to understand that. So I feel like you're probably missing potentially some spirit communication, but also if going by the idea that spirits are truly deceased humans, this just doesn't seem like a logical way that they would communicate with us by, you know, burying pieces of sound in all of that static and garbage. So I don't think this is a great tool. I think there's much better now. In fact, we're probably not going to do it tonight, but a device that I've been working on for the last year plus, I think is kind of an exponential advancement in communication. But these things do definitely have their place. People do get good results with them, but again, I just think this is not the best means to communicate. So this is kind of similar to that. This device is kind of the big brother to that. This is called the PSB.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I mean, you can kind of see the difference here in size, right? I mean, you've got one that's a little baby and one that's kind of big, and the PSB 7, this little one, is basically this is basically two PSB 7s put together. So there's basically two different radio scanners built into this one chassis. So this is really cool in that you have the ability to scan basically two different ways completely differently. So you can scan one channel scan AM, for instance, forward on the dial. The other channel could be scanning FM, reverse on the dial. So you get some really interesting, and this also does like temperature as well. You get some really interesting effects, or really interesting and unusual sounds using this. So let's fire this up and give this one a try. You can see it's got a bunch of lights and stuff on it. So let's do channel 1 as, let's just start with just one. Let's just, we'll start it in a one channel scan just to see. We'll do one channel AM. We're going to change it to a sweep rate. This one is kind of cool, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but this is cool in that it has much faster sweep rate. So you can actually do 50 millisecond, from 50 millisecond up to 300 millisecond. So it is almost completely illegible, or inaudible, I should say, when you set it to 50 millisecond. You can hear how fast this thing scans. I mean, literally you hear nothing other than just sweep. So let's sweep it at that rate. And as you can see, since it's a scanning radio similar to this, obviously it has an antenna because it needs to pick up radio frequencies. So So that is 50 milliseconds scanning, which, I mean, you can hear that there's really nothing audible there. Occasionally you'll get something break through. Is there anyone here that would like to speak with us? Can you tell us your name? So you can tell it's very fast. I mean, it's almost too fast to use, right? So, you know, I think setting a sweep rate that speed is pretty detrimental to communication. So if we increase the sweep rate, I usually like between, I don't know, 150 to 250. But let's turn on a second channel as well. So we'll do one channel AM, and then channel 2 is going to be FM. And you can set the sweep rates differently. Notice the different colors and stuff are changing. We'll do FM sweeping forward, and we'll do AM going in reverse. Let's see what that does. And I've set them both to 250 millisecond. Hello, it's Larry and Sherry. We'd like to communicate with you tonight. If there's anyone that would like to say hello, please come through. What? It said something.
It did say something.
Would you like to talk to Winston? So, I mean, you can have some fun with these devices, but, you know, again, I have a really hard time getting really good results with these. I mean, you've used these on investigations before, right? Have you had much luck?
No.
Yeah.
Well, especially, you know, certain locations you go to, you don't have radio signal.
That's true.
So,
That's very true.
bless you.
Excuse us. Yeah, so obviously these things are completely useless when there's no radio.
Or when the radio signal is super weak, and then it's...
So, the next one that I was going to show, before we play with some other fun stuff, is this is an original Andy's box. Not to be confused with the Frank's box, but this is a original Andy's box. This is number 165. This particular one was built by my friend Andrew Openlander, and it is it's an FM sweep device that he custom built. It has sweep rate that's adjustable. It also has an echo chamber that's built in. It's pretty neat. You know, it's kind of cool that it's got some little glow-in-the-dark skeleton or skulls on it. But it is a scanning radio ghost box as well. It's neat. I guess it's made out of maybe an old cigar box or something. Pretty cool. Let's fire this one up and see if we get anything better. And that's the cool thing about using all these tools. I love gadgets. I've always loved gadgets. I'm a techie. So, you know, regardless of my thoughts on, you know, how effective a particular piece of equipment is, I still want to own it. I still want to collect it, you know, for the collection. So let's fire this one up. See if we get anything different with it. So I don't know if I really showed you the back. That's what the back looks like. You can see it's got a power button, a sweep rate adjusting knob, volume, speaker. It's got a jack for an external speaker as well.
So what's on the inside of it?
What do you mean?
What
A
makes it
radio.
work?
Basically,
Okay.
it is a modified circuit that allows radio sweep. Basically, the same as those other devices that I had showed. Yeah, same sort of thing. This is just a hand built versus mass produced in China device. I've actually had some pretty good results with this, but let's fire it up and see. I don't know if you guys saw or not the video when we went live a few weeks ago in a cemetery out in Roland, Arkansas. I took this with us.
Natural steps.
Natural steps, yeah. And we actually had some pretty interesting communication using this. So let's try this one. Let's fire it up. Turn the volume up. Takes it a second for it to kind of lock on.
It went from, yeah, he's got...
It went from, yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing...
Hey guys, we're back in another spirit box. If you'd like to communicate with us, yeah, you can talk to us through this. Absolutely. What would you like to say?
What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on? Well, it's Friday night. We were just kind of bored, so we wanted to do a video tonight. So, what are you up to tonight?
Keep rolling like this. We don't know anything.
You don't know.
Together as this
What's your name?
Whoever else comes out of the way.
Is your name Lewis?
Providing. Here eventually.
Are you the person that was turning lights on and off just before this, before we decided to go live?
Rock. What is the name of...
What is my name?
What's the truth?
What's the truth? Well, that is the truth. Is there anything you'd like to tell us tonight?
Is anything that can be...
Winston's over here asleep. Would you like to, you want to pet Winston or say hello to Winston?
I want to know exactly...
Can you see him over there?
Either. I know exactly...
So you can hear, you know, again, it's a sweeping radio, so you're going to hear bits and pieces, little snippets of audio transmissions that are music, that are, you know, talk radio, commercials, etc. So you kind of have to look a little bit beyond that, and I think the folks that are staunch proponents of the sweeping radio ghost box, you know, that is just part of the... I guess just part of the experience. Yeah, I mean, I've had some results, some positive results. This particular box I've actually had some pretty good results with, but for the most part, those sweeping radios to me are, you know, kind of old school technology, especially compared to SIS, the new device that I have. So we're going to do another, let's try something different. So I don't know if you guys have ever messed around with apps too much. I get asked a lot on investigations, you know, is it okay to use apps? People talk about using like Ghost Radar or the iOvulus or any of those phone-based or tablet-based apps. And, you know, people always want to know, are these things legitimate? What do you think about that? Before I tell people what I think, what are your thoughts on those?
I would need to see the coding behind them to know if they're GPS based, or I mean, there's a lot of things we don't know about the phone and tablet based applications that I have a feeling that some of them are skewed. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I would agree. I think some of the apps that are out there, I think, are probably legit, but I think there are some that, I think are designed specifically to get spooky reactions, right? I think they're either they use word banks that contain words that one might typically associate with paranormal phenomena. I'm not going to call out any specific names, but I've heard of several apps that are available for both iOS and Android that use sound banks, and those particular sound banks are stuffed with words that would be potentially considered paranormal. So I think there are certainly a great number of those probably. But I do think there are some legitimate apps that are out there, and I've kind of selected a few over the last couple of years that I feel confident that not only is the developer honest and forthcoming about their motives, but that the tools seem to consistently perform. I try to stick to things that either use sound banks that I know what audio is contained in those sound banks, whether it be contiguous words or whether it be reverse audio. I really like using reverse audio, like banks of phonemes specifically that are using reverse audio. But I also like the idea of using internet-based radio stations and scanning those. So very similar to what we just tried with using the scanning AM and FM ghost boxes. Folks have come up with the idea basically of using the internet radio stations, and there are thousands and thousands of internet-based radio stations, both audio, talk radio, religious, anything that you can think of. There is a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week live internet stream for. So some folks have figured out that they can take those streams, pipe them into their Ghostbox software, and utilize that as the audio source. So I like that idea too, because it also includes, somewhat of a randomness to it. So you don't know exactly what streams are being utilized. You don't know, it's much more difficult to fake something, I think, using a random an audio stream, random words that are spoken in an audio stream versus something that would be probably known. So let's try an app, a couple of different apps actually. We're just gonna, let me fire up my speaker.
Battery 100%. Connected to Larry's iPhone. Connected to Galaxy Tab S5e.
Okay, so we're going to use my tablet. We're going to fire up a couple of different apps just to kind of see what we get. And we've used these particular apps with a lot of success when we were in Eureka last month. At Eureka Springs, we used several of these and actually had a lot of really good results with them. So let me get into the modes, and we'll kind of go through a few of these different apps and see if we get anything different. Let's do the kind of the granddaddy first. So this one's been around for a while. It's one that I use fairly often. It's called the Portal. It is a spirit box or ghost box that utilizes sound banks that have been reversed and chopped up. So there are no whole words that are present in this app. So I like that a lot. I like the idea of the randomness and that there's a phoneme component rather than using a full size or full length audio. So let me get back to that. Sorry, my tablet just went into a different mode. Okay. All right, so we're gonna fire up the portal, and let's see what we get. So, as you can hear, there's a lot of nonsense words.
Of course.
Is anyone with us tonight? Can whoever turn the light on and off before our live stream, can you come through and say hello? Tell us who you are.
Yes, it's me.
Yes, it's me. So right before I decided to do the stream tonight, I guess I've mentioned this a few times and didn't really give any context to it. I was walking into my office, and I noticed at the end of the hallway is Sherry's office. And I noticed the light was on in her office, so I asked her, hey, did you leave the light on in your office? She said no. And as I'm watching the light, it turned off. And I said, your light just turned off in your office. And she didn't believe me, but it happened 2 or 3 times. Finally, she came over. The light was on, and as she stood there and watched with me from, what 20 feet away from it?
Yeah.
Probably a good 20 feet away. The light turned off again. So, I don't know what happened, what that was, but something turned the lights on and off several times in Cherry's office just right before this. So that was one of the reasons, too, I decided to do a live tonight.
Did it just say Larry?
Yeah, it did say Larry.
Or Sherry, I'm not sure which.
Because I figured there's something happening. Tonight would probably be a good night to go live and try it. So, why did you turn the light on and off? Why were you turning the light on and off? Oops. Was there a were you trying to catch my attention? What's your name? That whispery voice is
It's
creepy.
like the kid in Eureka.
Yeah, we had that same thing when we were in Eureka last month. We had that whispery, creepy voice.
And the kid.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. Is your name Michael?
Liam.
Is Liam with us? Liam, can we speak to you?
He no here. Is that what it said?
That's what it sounded like. It said he's not here. So, I'll stop this. So, that's kind of a cool little toy. Toy. I say that a lot, but it's not a toy. None of this stuff really is a toy. But that particular application, the portal, I really like that app. Again, it uses sound banks of words that are chopped up and reversed. So there's no chance that there is audio that's been stuffed into those banks that could potentially mislead you to believe that you're getting a response that is not there.
With the exception of audio pareidolia, but
yes, certainly that's a possibility. So another app that I like a lot, there's several, but another app that I really like is called Necrophonic, and it is it's by a friend of mine, Josh from Chill Seekers, and this particular app, it's about I think $9 or $10, and it has a sound bank built in from the Panasonic DR60. So if you're familiar with EVP recorders, old school EVP recorders like the handheld, not digital recorder like this, but the old school digital recorder.
You mean like the little tapes?
No, it's digital, but it had a small like 4K of RAM, so it only could record like 60 minutes at a time or something. Just
I'm sure I had one.
yeah, I probably did too. So the DR60 is considered by many people to be one of the most in demand EVP recorders, and they stopped producing them. Panasonic produced them through the early 1990s and then stopped producing them because people were complaining about that the audio was garbage. So when they would take a recording and then listen back to it, people would hear things in the back that sounded like other people talking in the room. So that's great for ghost hunters, right? But for someone that's actually like recording a meeting or a class, that's not so good. So Panasonic issued a recall of the DR60, and they replaced it with another model. I think it was called the RRQ60 or Q something.
Which reduced background noise.
Which, yes, it reduced all of that and it cleared up the audio. So people love using the DR60 because it has so much. It has such a dirty audio input that you can capture EVPs almost real time. Or listen to them almost in real time without having to input it into a computer, download it to a computer, increase the amplitude, listen to it. It's pretty close to being real time as you listen to it. So this particular app uses a sound bank that was designed from usage of the Panasonic DR60. It also has some additional functions built in. It has an echo and a reverb and a white noise feature. The only one that I usually turn on is reverb. I feel like reverb seems to help spirits communicate for whatever reason. Perhaps the additional echo is more energy that they use. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I've gotten better results using reverb on audio than I have with standard echo. So let's fire this up. Let's turn on reverb first, and then we're going to fire this up and see if we get anything. So this one tends to have some really creepy voices too. So I don't honestly, let me pause this for a minute. I don't know enough about what audio is in these sound banks to 100% say whether or not there's some funny business going on here. I just don't know. Only because I've never seen the code. I don't know exactly what audio is stored in those sound banks. But there is some super, super creepy audio that I've gotten from this. And from talking to other folks that utilize this particular app as well, they've gotten some downright freakishly scary audio. So it's probably one of the more spooky sounding spirit boxes that I have, or spirit apps I should say that I have. But let's fire it back up and let's see if we get anything good. Hey guys, it's Sherry and Larry.
Sure.
Is there anything you'd like to tell us tonight?
Yep.
Do you know what time it is? What's it like where you're at? What? That sounded creepy as hell. What did that say?
It's not light or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it's kind of what I thought. It's not light where you're at. Is it nighttime? Can you say my name? Hi. How are you?
Good.
Do you know what Sherry's middle name is?
Yeah.
So if we turn on echo, let you hear what that sounds like. See, that just sounds weird. It sounds kind of unnatural. Turn on white noise as well. Hey guys, how's it going? I'd like to speak to Michael. Is Michael here? I'm not sure. Okay, so you get the idea. So this is an example of an app that I just don't know enough about it. I like it, but
Is it phenomes too?
no, that's actually full words. So again, I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if they've stuffed that with specific
I didn't hear
words.
full words.
Yeah. One of my favorites is also from Josh, the Chill Seekers. This is an app called Signal. This just came out a few months ago, and this is a really cool internet-based radio station scanning tool. So this is akin to the Frank's Box or the sweeping radio that we listened to earlier, but yeah, in an app form, and this is sweeping internet-based stations only. So it's got some cool features. You can turn on a noise gate, you can change reverb, you can change, a couple of different audio settings on this. And I used this one almost exclusively when we were in Eureka last month at the Crescent Hotel. This particular app worked phenomenally well. So let's fire it up. And I've just got a default sleep turned on. So you can change the sweep rate. You can change a bunch of things with it, similar to how you do the normal ghost box. Let me actually add a noise to this and turn this down some. Okay, so I've added a noise gate. So there's different effects or different audio algorithms that you can modify with this. So I've turned on the noise gate, and I'm going to turn it on just a little bit. So hopefully we cut out some of that sweeping stuff that we're hearing, all the extra audio, so that only legitimate words will come through. So I've got it turned almost halfway up. I'll turn the reverb up a little bit too, so you can see the settings. Okay, is there anyone here with us? Michael, are you here? like to talk to you? Well, let's try another app.
Brandon's here. Oops.
Alright, so we've got a couple of other options, or other apps that we'll just run through really quick. And again, tonight was not going to be like a really long session. I just wanted to jump on and just kind of see how the camera and stuff worked. But we will definitely be coming back and doing more. And I want to demonstrate my device as well as some other things. So this is definitely not going to be a one-time affair here. Alright, so let's fire up another...
Tell him you'll figure out the comments so you can say hi to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm not watching the comments. I'll definitely need to go back through afterwards. Let's try. I have a bunch of apps. I try a lot of apps just to try them because I get asked very often, what do you think about X, Y, or Z app? And, I like to have some ability to answer intelligently. So when someone mentions a specific app to me that I don't have any knowledge or awareness of, I go and I download it, and I'll spend some time checking it out to see what I think. So I have a lot that I've collected. Another one that I use sometimes is called Spiritus, and this particular one is a app that utilizes sound banks as well. It has, I believe, there's 4 different sound banks, and each one of those 4 sound banks are broken up into different components. Like there is a male sound bank, there's a female sound bank. You have the ability in the app to change some of the audio components. So you can turn on echo, you can turn on a phaser effect, some reverb. There's different things that you can do in this particular app that I like. There's not a lot of apps that have the flexibility, other than the Signal app that I showed previously. There's not a lot of apps that really have that flexibility to allow you to modify the audio signal that much. But let's just do a basic. Let's just fire up one of the channels, one of the audio banks, and see what we get with just one, with no effects, just the audio from that bank. So this is channel 1. We don't have anything else turned on, but channel 1. So. Is there anyone here with us? My name is Larry. I come in peace. I come in light. Is there anything you'd like to say to us? So let's spice it up and add bank 2 in as well.
What?
That's kind of got a creepy tone to it.
And
I don't know if y'all could hear that, but there's some like creepy whispering that's going on here.
That sounds like those old 1-900 numbers.
Yeah, it sort of does.
Good.
Are you sad? Are you sad where you are?
Hi.
Hi. Whoa, that sounded super creepy. I don't know if y'all could hear that, but wow, that sounded really, really creepy. Hi to you back. What's your name?
And
That almost sounds like another language. How old are you? So you have some ambient. I'm noticing that too. That there's some ambient sound as well. Maybe like environmental audio that's in those banks. I'm not really sure again how it was recorded. Let's kick on.
No.
Let's kick on channel 3 now, or audio bank 3. Hey, this is Larry and Sherry using the Spiritus app.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? What's your name? Can you see us? C.
See.
It's a C. That was pretty clear. I haven't mentioned it on here, but can you,
8.
can you tell me what my dog's name is? What's my dog's name? Let's turn on bank 4 now. I'm looking for somebody that would like to speak to us that has
Now?
passed over within the last year. Is there anyone that has passed over recently that would like to speak with us? Do you have any messages for us? What? That's the first time I've heard singing on this. Excuse me. Do you have a message for anyone that we know?
Just say no.
Yeah, it sounded like it said no. Would you like to? Would you like to show us that you're here somehow? Would you like to touch my head, wake my dog up?
Leave one alone.
What's awesome? This is awesome? Hey! Well, I think we've had enough for the night. It's been a long day. We're both exhausted. Again, I really appreciate everybody coming and checking this out. This was kind of a test of our...
A test run.
Yeah, a little test run of our new equipment. It looks like it went pretty well. So we'll be doing more sessions for sure. I would absolutely like to share SIS with you, which is my spirit communication device that is, I think, the next level beyond what is currently available in EVP or ITC research. Yeah, so definitely want to come back and share that.
And what questions do they have? I mean,
yeah, yeah. I know there's not that many people on right now.
No, but if anybody watches this video back, if there's any questions people have, message and ask.
Yep.
And, we'd love to do videos on that too, answering questions and.
Yeah.
Or I would.
Yeah, no, I would totally do it too.
We come from two different ends of the spectrum on.
We do.
On the way we approach things and the way that we. Yeah, so I think it'd be interesting to.
I do too.
Have both perspectives answer the questions.
Yep, it definitely would. So, I don't even know what time it is. Yeah, it's
We've been
8:45.
an hour and 16 minutes at this.
Time flies. It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
It's past your bedtime.
It is way past my bedtime. Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, guys. We will. We may go live again tomorrow night. We'll just have to see. But keep looking out for your notifications and stay safe. And we hope to see you guys tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Bye bye.